So let's talk about how much our blogs will earn in 2021 compared to previous years when we're looking at affiliate and ads. And let's look at different threats and also possibilities when it comes to earning as much as possible with your website in 2021. So there's definitely a lot of things going on with COVID-19, the pandemic, and also just generally within the whole technical space, with Google dropping the cookie maybe late in 2021, maybe a bit later. They're not very clear on that. And also we'll look at ad rates and where affiliate commissions are going and where the whole landscape is moving for us bloggers. So let's start with this third-party cookie thing. So the thing is that January last year, Google told us that within 2 years, Google will let go of the third-party cookie. So it's a little technical, but that's what you use when you're tracking a user for an affiliate click and also for retargeting. That means that a banner ad will follow you across different websites. So that's very relevant for all of us using display ads on our sites. So the thing is that the advertisers, the brands, the companies, the e-commerce stores and so on who wants to advertise on your site with ads like display ads or through affiliate links that you place on your site, they will not be able to trace their viewers or their visitors into the cart, meaning that they will not know whenever somebody made a purchase, at least not from the cookie as they used to. So generally, I think this is not our problem as publishers, because it's the advertisers and the brands and the e-commerce stores who are losing some tracking here. And I think their ad spends will just continue to go up and up and up, and a big chunk of that money will still come into our pockets as bloggers. So they will need to figure out how they will track these users, but I don't see people drawing away again or pulling back again on digital ad spend. It's definitely a strong tendency. We see that bigger brands and just all sites and brands in general are advertising more and more in the digital space and on our websites and with banners and also putting up affiliate offers and stuff. But there's definitely a challenge for them, but I don't see it really impact us because it's not like we are losing revenue. I think this could probably play into our hands, because if they lose a bit of tracking, if they cannot track the customer, they might need to spend more money to get the same traction or to see the same results now that the whole data set they have is getting a little more blurry. But who knows? But we can look a bit at what happened last time this happened, because Google is actually late to the party here. Firefox and Safari, the two other major browsers, they did this already in April 2020. So last year in March, April, late March, early April, they already dropped the third-party cookies. So Google Chrome is just joining the party here of Apple and Firefox. And we can see what happened back then. We did definitely see a drop. And let me show you here in Ezoic's ad index what happened with the ad rates. So here we have all of 2020, and this ad revenue index here is just a big pile of data across all niches and verticals. Every website that's using Ezoic comes into this data set here. So here you will see the overall tendency across all niches. And that's a very, very good index to have, because you will know if something drops, if your ad revenue drops, you can see if everybody else is experiencing the same in general. But of course, there are big variations here across niches, but it's great to have this average index here to look at. And as I told you guys, in April 2020, we did see Safari and Firefox drop this third-party cookie, just exactly the same as Google is about to do with the Chrome browser. And if you look at this period here, you'll see a drop here. But this drop here is not only because of this cookie thing. It's important to understand how bigger brands and companies are buying ads. Because when you buy digital ads, you do it at 4 different times of the year. You buy it for the first 3 months, which is Q1, the next 3 months, which is Q2, and the next 3 months, Q3, and the last 3 months of the year, Q4. And we always see ad rates go up and up, but we'll come back to that later in the video. It's just important to understand that for now, that when we look at April here, we will always see a drop, because in the beginning of each Q, like for every 3 months, we will see a drop, because when they start buying new ads, we see a drop and then it gathers momentum over the period. So you'll see a rise here and you'll see another upward trend here for each Q over the year. But we did see a bigger drop this year, as you can see here. But the important thing here is to zoom out over the whole year here and see what happened after a couple of months. Everything seemed to just continue as usual. And again, in 2020, we had the best end of the year like we have every year. And that's what's so awesome about digital ads and about display ads from these ad networks. We always have a better year than the previous year, and we'll get back to that a little later in the video. So nobody knows exactly what happens when there's a drop like this here. It could be caused by many things. So the important thing to know here is just that if we look at the bigger picture, nothing really changed. So Safari and Firefox dropping that third-party cookie didn't really mean anything in the bigger picture here. But it's also important to remember that Google Chrome is not just another browser. On mobile, they account for 64% of all traffic, and on desktop and laptop computers, it's 70%. So it's definitely the biggest browser. And that also means that as long as the ad networks and also the affiliate networks, as long as they had the Chrome data, which they still have for a little while yet, they have enough data to sort of figure out what happens with that other 30%. So you sort of have enough data to do the calculations and to figure out how much revenue you can attribute to each publisher. So that's something that data scientists can figure out. But of course, now that they lose that last huge chunk, like the 70% here in the end of 2021 or early 2022, it will be something else, because then they don't have any tracking for this third-party cookie. But we will get back to this graph here and dive a little bit deeper into it and zoom out and see the tendency over several years. So I'm very hopeful for our ad earnings after Google drops the cookie. Maybe late 2021, maybe early 2022. We don't know exactly when it happens. My friends over at AdThrive, they did tell me on an interview, and you can find the link in the description, that they believe from Google that it will happen later in 2022. But I mean, the official statement from Google is within 2 years, and they said this in January 2019. So it could happen pretty soon, actually, or at least here in 2021. But let's talk about affiliate earnings, because the affiliate cookie is very, very important, and they will lose some tracking there. So we don't know exactly what will happen with that, but it's definitely time now to put display ads on your site and have that play into your mix when you're planning your content, to also plan for content that does really well with ads. And that's typically sort of the same content that does well with ads that also does well with affiliate. So with affiliate offers, you always want to target people who are on buying mode. You need to think about pre-buying topics and post-buying topics. So meaning some searches that you will search for, or topics you will search for before you make a purchase, and stuff you research after you have the product in your hand. So it's pretty important, because if you're, for example, searching for how hard is it to clean something, then you're probably coming at this before you have the product. But if you're looking for a cleaning guide, then you probably already have the product. So see, there's a little distinction here. Some stuff that you will research before, like size and what type of stuff to get. And after you have it, you'll figure out how to use it, maybe how to clean it, how to install it, and how to make it work with other stuff if it's electrical equipment or something like that. So with affiliate articles and the topics that you want to monetize with affiliate links, you need to target people before they actually made the purchase. So that's important over here. But with ads, we can also write a lot of topics about what people will do with the product after they got the product in their hand, because I mean, the algorithms for ads are not good enough to decipher this and know if this is in fact a pre-buyer or a post-buyer topic. They'll just see that this is content around this specific product and that people have been researching this product and stuff like that. So we often see very, very good ad rates with articles that target users after they made a purchase. So it's something that you can think into the mix. If you up till now have just been focused 100% on best X for Y and just heavily been building site in the affiliate side of things, you need to play ads into the mix now, because we don't know exactly what will happen with the affiliate side of things once they drop the cookie. We know they will lose the tracking and they'll not be able to see whenever somebody visits your site and they make a purchase. at least not the way they do it today. But I do think personally that things will bounce back over a couple of months, because I do not see, as I told you before, I do not see ad spends online or the digital ad spend in general getting any lower. I see it just rise and rise and rise over the years, because more and more brands need to advertise online, and it's not like it's been evened out yet. We still have a very long way to go before it's even like 50-50 between offline and online advertising for the bigger brands. So this cookie thing could be a threat, could be a possibility. We don't know anything about it yet. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. But something else that's definitely a benefit for us as bloggers in 2021 is the growing ad rates, meaning that people are paying more and more in digital ad spend in order to show more ads and show more expensive ads. And we just see these ad rates go up and up over the years. You probably heard me talk about that before. So Ezoic has this ad index where you can see exactly how much money publishers and bloggers like you and I are making from the ads on their websites month after month. And they have this 5-year back view where you can see the tendencies over time. And it's very, very interesting. We looked a little bit at it just before when we were talking about this cookie drop. But let's look a bit more into the bigger picture here. Okay, let's zoom out here as much as we can. So we have some more data here for 2021 already, and we can zoom all the way back to mid-2016. So for each vertical line here, we have 6 months. So from here to here, we have 1 year, and then we have 18, 19, 20, and so on. So if we divide each column here in 2, we will have the first Q, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. And you can see that it always drops a little bit when you enter the second quarter of the year. And here, the third quarter, you see a big drop, and you see a big drop again when we enter the fourth quarter. And that's just how it always is. But the important thing here is to look at the tendency like year over year. So first here, we have a full year here of 17, 18, 19, and 20. And here again, you can see this drop here around the cookie drop. And again, I cannot tell you that this surely happened because Safari and Firefox dropped the cookie, but it's definitely here that this happened. So I think that could be caused by that. And I think we'll see something similar when Chrome drops that cookie. But what I wanted to show you here is just how it's growing year over year. And for each year here, the end of the year is always better than the previous year. And I do think that 2021 will be another record year, because it always is. And this is just because more and more companies and brands are moving more money from offline advertising into online advertising, and a big chunk of that goes into our pockets. And another tendency here that's pretty interesting is that these ups and downs typically follow the stock market. So if companies are having a good time, they also spend more money on ads. So that makes a lot of sense. So unless we're seeing like a huge recession or something like that, we'll just see things continuing to climb up here. So something else that happened in 2020 that will definitely impact your earnings with your blog in 2021 is the cut we saw in Amazon's commissions. So just to wrap up a few numbers, for home and furniture and pet products and beauty, we saw a huge drop from 8 to 3%, meaning that you would before make 8% commissions, now you make 3% commissions. And for the outdoor, which is a huge pile of niches, and also everything about tools and also other things, we saw a drop from 5.5 to 3%. Again, a huge drop there, and more niches are cut out. If you take health and personal care, they used to make 5%, now they make 1%. So they almost just got totally rid of those commissions. You cannot really make any money with Amazon if you are in those niches. So of course this is a huge deal, and it's something that caused a lot of fuss in the whole blogging sphere in 2020. So it's time to get away from Amazon if you haven't done so already. Just building out Amazon sites, I would say, is very risky. Even though we still have a lot of verticals and niches where we can make a good deal of money with Amazon links, I could see Amazon maybe get rid of the program altogether, or just really continue to slash these commissions. So you need to put ads, display ads into your mix, into your content mix. Like I said before, it's very important to have that leg as well, so you have that income source as well, because a healthy mix of ads and affiliate links is just crucial in 2021. But also you definitely don't need to sweat over this, because Amazon has never really been a very good affiliate program if you ask me. I know there's a ton of people who make a lot of money from Amazon, but it's typically with sites that are heavily into best X for Y topics. So they have just affiliate links all over the place, and they don't have a lot of content that's tailored toward informational or educational topics. And we did see many of these blogs that have a big chunk of best X for Y. I mean, if 70 or 80% of your content is just comparison of different products and just sending people to affiliate links all over the place, we did see a lot of these blogs get a pretty hard time with the last Google Core update. We saw many of these lose a lot of traffic. So it seems like Google is favoring sites that have good informational content as well, where not every article on there is about getting that cookie onto the visitor so they will make a commission eventually. So we need to create helpful sites that actually come with good advice, and they're not just buying guides and best X for Y all the way. And actually, Amazon is not the best affiliate program out there by far, if you ask me. I've always made more money with Share Sale and also Commission Junction, and also a few others direct partnerships that I have with some major brands. So the thing is, once you start getting a good deal of traffic, you can contact businesses directly, like e-commerce stores, and tell them about affiliate marketing. So if you're already making like a handful of sales through some crappy program, maybe over Amazon, you can contact some other e-commerce stores. Sometimes the smaller ones will pay really well because they really need more volume. So you just tell them that you're making a handful of sales already, or you're making this amount of sales, this amount of revenue for Amazon or whatever affiliate program you're using. And then you tell them, what would you do if I sent this to you instead? How much can you pay me? And if they're not willing to listen, just ask them like, how much volume do you need to get their attention? And then of course you need to negotiate the commissions. So you need to negotiate better commissions. You need to find good programs to join, and also you can like talk directly to e-commerce stores who don't have a program yet. That's what I do, and those are some of the e-commerce stores where I make the most money, or some that I have a direct partnership with. I have Skype calls with these managers directly because they know me and they know that I send good traffic and I'm one of the only affiliates they have. Sometimes they'll let others join once I convince them to create an affiliate program for me. But just think creatively here. Don't just play into the hands of Amazon. They are big enough already and they don't really think much about you. So look at other programs with Commission Junction and Share Sale and contact some of these e-commerce stores and do direct deals and partnerships with them and convince them and tell them about this huge opportunity for them to get links from your site where you'll just earn a small commission, and they'll of course get to keep the big part of that chunk of money. So another threat in 2021, something else that will definitely impact our earnings as bloggers in 2021, is the COVID situation. So we did see a lot of travel bloggers and just blogs within the whole, you can say, restaurant niche and everything around these niches that really have a hard time in the COVID situation. We did see a lot of those lose a lot of traffic and also lose the advertising budgets, just because these businesses have a very hard time right now. So if you only have like a travel site, it'll get tough for you in 2021, and maybe it's time for you to evaluate your strategy as a blogger. Maybe it's time to create a second site or a third site and just diversify a little bit. Even if you are in a niche that does still pay out pretty well, I mean, stuff can happen like the COVID. I don't think anybody could foresee what would happen with this pandemic. I mean, it's very, very unusual to see businesses like travel and restaurants and foods, just all these huge verticals to go down. I don't think anybody would think that could like ever happen. So maybe it's time to spread your risk a little bit by putting eggs in other baskets. So I like to run a portfolio of websites. I'm constantly adding new sites to the mix, and then I sell one eventually. Maybe it's time to do that, just so you're less vulnerable if something happens. So it could be new stuff happening around the pandemic, could also be something else. It's just a good time right now to rethink your strategy and make sure that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. But there are also a lot of possibilities around the COVID situation. So for example, my big site go downsize, I write about RVs and boating. I saw those verticals really have a lot of extra traction, because if you're not allowed to travel around the world, then you could go out on a boat, and we did see the market for RVs just explode. I think it's really hard to even find a used RV right now in the States. So it has been a very good time for me last year, because my site Go Downsize and also a few of my other bigger sites have just had like a huge upward trend, because there was just so much more traffic. And the same thing goes for everything DIY, everything around the house and the garden, because people have more time at home, and they will also have more time at home in 2021. So maybe it's time to write more content about DIY projects, how to fix your garden, anything you can think about around the house, DIY stuff. Crafts have been really growing over the last year. Like my site Sewing Machine Talk had a huge spike in traffic also in the beginning of the pandemic. So think creatively with this and work with it, and diversify here, and make sure that you have different sites and different niches, or at least build toward that as a goal, so you'll be less vulnerable. Because once you go full-time, or if you are a full-timer already, it's very important to sort of secure your business, so it cannot really be taken down by stuff like a pandemic or something else. You need to secure your business and make sure that it's strong and stable, and that you are not as vulnerable to things like this. Then we also see some major Google changes that could be a threat to your site if you're not ready for it. So in 2021, we'll see Google move completely toward a mobile first, or you can call it mobile only index, meaning that it doesn't really matter anymore how well your site is performing on desktop and laptop computers. You need to mainly look at your site on a mobile screen and see how it works there. And we also have this new page experience thing that Google will take into effect in May. So we already see the Core Web Vital report in Google Search Console. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, check the link in the description, where I have like this huge video about Google changes in 2021, because they do have some major things on the table for us in 2021. This whole mobile first thing, and also this page experience thing. So that's about getting a fast site and having a site where everything loads quickly above fold. That's everything you see immediately on the screen, and not on the laptop. Remember, you need to think on the mobile screen here. So everything people see immediately on the screen when your site loads needs to stay in place. You cannot have things shifting around, because after a second you have an ad loading here, and after a second you have a picture here, or you have something appearing here in an iframe or something like that. You need to have everything stay in place and stay fixed. Once it's loaded, it needs to load fast and stay in place. And then of course there's the basic security stuff, like HTTPS, SSL, and just have like generally a secure site. So that's just a very quick wrap up of what I'm telling you about in this other video. So check that out, because Google is changing things a little bit around the whole page experience thing. And they did tell us that they will have this new little icon, this new little mark that they will place beside all the listings on the Google results page. So it's definitely something people will pay attention to, because once you see that this site is great, this one is bad, some people will react to that quickly, and other people will get afraid of these sites that are not like approved by Google and might stay away because they think they're unsecure or whatever. I think my parents will do that. So definitely think about this and see this video that I linked to in the description if you don't know exactly how to handle this whole page experience and this mobile first thing. So to wrap this all up, diversify and make sure that you have a healthy mix between ads and affiliate income on your site. So that's the baseline. Of course, you can also work with lead generation and info products. That's a great way also to make money with your site. But at least the bare minimum here in 2021 is to have a healthy mix of ads and affiliate links on your site. So if you do that, and if you diversify, and if you write good content, then you'll do perfectly fine in 2021. See you guys.